Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories using the beautiful Boho Sunshine collection. I am in love with this collection. I have so many photos that just work perfectly with it. I was really drawn to this sun paper. I just think the suns are just so cute. What I'm doing is I'm starting off by finding the middle of the paper and just using a pair of compasses to draw a large circle. There we go. And I'm not sure at this stage whether I'm going to use the circle or use the frame. So I'm just going to cut it out and see what I fancy. So I decided that it wasn't big enough. I've changed my mind and made the aperture a bit bigger. Yeah. I'm just going to cut all that out. There we go. Cut all that out then. And then I'm going to distress the edges of the middle of the frame, and I am going to use the frame. I'm going to save the circle for something else and maybe use that another time, but right now just going to use the frame. So I'm going to put that onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to put foam pads all around the back of the aperture so that it stands up nicely. And then I have this little set of 4 photos of me and my daughter together messing around, putting funny faces. So that'll be quite nice. And my tape gun's just run out. I'll just quickly change that. There we go. And I put foam pads all around the outside of the aperture as well, so it stands out a little bit. Now I'm just going to try and figure out how to arrange my photos across my layout. I'm not quite sure how to do this. I initially thought that it would look nice across the middle, but they're not quite big enough, so they don't quite stretch across the middle of the layout to form horizontal line. At the bottom, I wasn't quite sure about that either. So in the end, I end up splitting them into 2 sets of 2. I wanted to use some of the titles from the foam stickers. They're one of my favourite things to use. They have big titles on, but also some smaller ones too, and some icons as well. So they're always fun to use. And there are lots of brilliant sayings on there. Simple Stories are brilliant at coming up with titles. I just think they're fabulous. I love this Be Happy. So I wanted to use that as my main title. So I've got that at the top. I've got You Are My Sunshine at the bottom there. And then I thought I would add some embellishments around the edge of the circle aperture and kind of create a wreath feature, if you like, going all the way around the edge. So yeah, I mean, it didn't turn out quite as it didn't have the big impact that I thought it would have. And I think that's because the paper itself is quite pale. The background paper I'm talking about is quite pale with the suns all over it. So therefore, it doesn't read as a solid. These designs tend to work better when the paper is more of a solid colour. So perhaps I should have been wiser in my paper choice, but I loved the suns. I just wanted to use them. So that's what I did. Yeah, I get there eventually, and quite happy with the finished layout when I eventually get there. But just going through and cutting out some tags and cutting out some other bits and pieces from the papers and mounting my photos. I wanted my photos to go on different colours, so just spending a bit of time doing that. I used some of the tags that I didn't think I'd use for other things to mount my photos, so just currently doing that. Okay, so I've skipped forward slightly here. You can see that all of my photos are now mounted, and I still haven't decided where my photos are going to go. But I'm working on it, and I'm going to end up with something of, almost like a line going across the layout. There we go. I've basically settled on 2 clusters of 2 photos, and I've got my big title at the top, and I'm just adding and adding and adding to those clusters around either side of the title, and just adding in lots of the fabulous ephemera from the Simple Stories collection, Boho Sunshine. It's just fabulous. I've pulled out everything. I've got the floral ephemera, it's not the ephemera, floral bits, and the bits and pieces, and the journal bits, and everything basically. So the floral bits are lovely. They contain flowers and butterflies and mushrooms and rainbows. So they're lovely, really, really lovely. Lots of great things in there. And then of course the bits and pieces have lots of different things as well, plants and flowers and backpacks and all sorts. I've got some lovely chipboard elements as well. I wanted to include this chipboard banner too. So I've just put that up on foam pads. I find that chipboard tends to fall off of layouts. Nothing wrong with the adhesive, it's just that chipboard by its very nature is not flexible. So therefore, when the layout flexes, they tend to ping off. So I get around it by mounting it on foam pads and essentially turning it into a foam sticker. I find that solves the problem perfectly. Either that or I stick with glossy accents to make sure that it really does stick, or I sew through them with my sewing machine. So a few little tips there if you struggle to stick chipboard items down too. Just carrying on adding embellishments and lots of bits and pieces. The problem is I love everything. I love all of the embellishments so much that I get a bit carried away and I just want to put them all on the layout. So I think that's why this layout ends up looking a bit cluttered, especially with the sun background paper, which isn't as solid. It makes me happy. It's full of happy things. It's full of nice photos. It's got nice icons on. It's got, flowers and rainbows and good vibes and butterflies, and it's just all fabulous. It just looks like it's just been kind of thrown on though. So probably not one of my best layouts, but it is full of happy things, and I'm quite happy with it. Ultimately it's only paper, right? I hope that you enjoy seeing the layout. It's not that bad. It's not bad at all. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just didn't have the impact that I wanted it to have with the circle. I think we lose the circle a little bit. So anyway, just finishing off now with some white paint splatters around the big clusters. I've done my journaling already underneath my title, it's coming along. I'm nearly done. I've forgotten to add decorative brads, which is something that I include on most of my Simple Stories layouts because I really love working with the decorative brads. They bring in a different texture to the layout. So once my paint was dry, I just brought in some of the decorative brads to finish off, and enamel dots as well, I believe. There we go. I'd got a bit carried away and splattered before I was finished. So there we go. Yeah, that is the layout pretty much complete, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, even though unfortunately I did lose the look of the circle really around the middle, but hey ho. I hope you enjoyed the layout. Don't let it put you off. Boho Sunshine is a beautiful collection by Simple Stories. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories.